Welcome everyone. I am coming to you from Folkestone in the UK. I'm Yasmin Lambat. I am the founder of SomaSensing, which is a way of tuning into our fascial fabric of embodiment and connect to an embodied wisdom. And I love nothing more than guiding others to their body wisdom in the way that I felt mine through the freedom of somatic movement, and to discover that everything that we need to know is already within us. So I really, really love the freedom that somatic movement brings, the interconnectedness with everyone, regardless of where we are, who we are, and to everything, to nature itself. And this practice has brought me to the realization that we are nature. So for this practice, I invite you to come to the ground. We're going to take a moment to arrive and go on a little journey of exploration. So please feel free to join me and to perhaps look away from your screen. If you get stuck at any point, you can glance to and watch, but really to connect to yourself, to the sensory wisdom of your body, and find your freedom, find what feels good for you. So if you can come to the ground, just taking a moment to arrive, to pause and rest, and just allow yourself to come to quiet, whatever that may be for you, where rest may not mean that you are completely still, but it might mean that you want to find what feels most easeful in your body. Would it be with legs unfolded, or could it be with one leg folded or both legs folded? So please take this time to explore what feels good for you down here on the ground. What do you notice? How does your body connect with the ground? And if you feel that you are wiggling and shuffling a little bit, that's what your body needs right now. So whatever your body needs, please go there. And then just imagine that you are waking up for the first time today and you want to unwind. It's that feeling that we experience when we wake up in the morning, that pandiculation sensation, this whole body motion. So just find this unwinding sensation, however it arrives for you. And then you can come back to quiet, where quiet means that you might be moving a little. It might mean that you move less, that your body comes to a space where there might be a quiet motion emerging from your foot or your shoulder or wherever else that may be. And then if you could
putting stuff in the chat.
Rest on the ground just with your left knee bent, your right leg unfolded.
Your arms and your hands.
And as you rest there, just notice if there is an oscillation that arises, a little bit of a rocking motion of your left thigh.
Like what she did.
Just noticing that. And could you take a moment to bring your awareness to the foot that's resting on the ground, your left foot? And can you send the floor away with your left foot and just notice how the rest of the body responds? And then come back. And you might find that oscillation again of that left knee or not. And every now and again, if you can stand into the ground with your left foot, just noticing how the rest of the body responds. Is it a whole body response? It is, if it's just one part, that's also fine. And please feel free to let go of that at any time. And swap sides when you're ready. And find the freedom to explore. When you're resting here, is there a motion that arises? If not, it's okay. And perhaps to explore what happens if I stand into the ground with my right foot? What happens to the rest of the body? Is there a whole body response? Is it just one part? Are there any areas that feel a little stuck? And if there are, how can you take care of that? Just by rocking. Find what takes care of you here. It's just the start of an exploration of what happens when. There's no right or wrong. There's just a curiosity around what happens when I rest, what happens when I send the foot into the ground. And then if you could let go of that, you could unfold both legs or keep both knees bent, just to take a moment to pause. And then when you're ready, if you can bend both knees this time, and notice what happens when your feet are closer to you, closer to your pelvis. What response does your body give you here? What's the information that arises from here? Is there any movement or not? And then what happens when you take your feet a little further away from you and find a way of resting that feels best for you? And from this place of rest, you may notice that your pelvis starts to rock. It might be a little bit of a pelvic rock. If not, it's okay. Perhaps you could invite a little pelvic rock. And in this rocking motion, how does the rest of the body respond? And how does rocking take care of you? How can you use this motion to soften any areas of stuckness or strain? Just find a soothing motion. And as you continue rocking, can you notice whether your shoulders respond or not? You could pause at any time. Just take a moment to pause. You can continue with a little motion. And then come back to rocking and paying attention to how the shoulder girdle responds. How do the shoulders respond? And what happens if you take that rocking motion a little further so that your knees drop all the way to one side and then the other? And when that happens, just notice how the breath responds, how the rest of your body responds. And from this rocking motion from side to side, could you find the freedom to explore where your body goes to next? Wherever your body goes to for you is absolutely where it needs to be right now. And the most important part of the practice is to explore, to find what feels easeful, to find what feels soothing, nurturing. If anything feels stuck, how do you bring your awareness to that? And allow your body to move in a way that takes care of that area. And the best way to experience this practice is to bring your awareness to sensation. If there's an area that feels stuck, perhaps you could pause there and add a bit of a rocking motion, a pulsing motion. So everything begins with just a simple rocking, rocking to release. And perhaps you'll find an unwinding motion that sensation of unwinding that might take you to your side or to your front. And please feel free to explore. If you do roll over to your front, where can you position your body in the most easeful way? And wherever you land, how can you find a place of rest? And from this place of rest and quiet, allow movement to emerge. So continuing with this practice of listening, allowing, letting the movement arise from within. Soothing, nourishing. At this point, you might be on your front. You might have continued from there. You might be on your side. And what's the relationship that you have just with sensing the ground and following the urge to move from here? So really following an inner urge to unwind, to explore, to find the freedom. And what really helps as well is to close your eyes for a moment and just tuning in. If you get lost at any point, please feel free to rest, to pause. And from that place of rest, when you pause, your body will send you the urge to move. At this point, you might still be on your front. You may come into a 4-point kneeling, just resting from there. And 4-point kneeling is a great place to allow fascial unwinding to emerge. So from a place of rest, please feel free to place your arms where they feel comfortable. There's no particular way. It's just what feels best for you. And 4-point kneeling is the best way to experience emergence. So just like a cat unwinding. So in these last moments of our practice is to find that freedom. And if you get lost, please just take a moment and rest. You are the best person to decide what feels effortless. There's no particular position that you need to be in. Rest is the best place to start and allow the body to send you motion. Find what feels nurturing, soothing, revitalizing. Ooh, and just getting to those areas that need taking care of. I'm just checking into our time together. We have a few moments. So wherever you arrive, I'm going to give you a couple of guidelines for fascial unwinding. And the first is to come to a place of rest and ease. It doesn't matter if you are in sitting, lying on the ground. So if you've come to any kind of seated position, doesn't matter where that is, the most important part is to find what feels the most effortless, whether you're in kneeling, and even if you are sitting with your hands behind you, wherever you are, let your arms land where they feel most easeful and allow the body to shape change. When you tune into your body, you can allow your body to soften. There's no particular way it needs to be. The best way is to tune in and listen to what feels nurturing, what feels soft, gel-like. There's any areas of stuckness or strain. How could you move your body to a position that feels more easeful? Whether you're sitting with your hands behind you, whether you are resting in a kind of primal seated position, as if you're hanging out at the beach. That's one of the best ways to begin, is just to hang out. Hanging out in the most natural, seated, lying down, kneeling position that you can find and rest. So that's the first part of the practice. And from that place of rest, movement begins to emerge. And to allow the motion to arise from within. I'm just going to take a little pause here.
Oh, thank you so much, Yasmin.
You're welcome.